There it is, everybody. The beautiful 1 hour chart when Bitcoin is falling. We all love to see it. In this video, I want to break down why this is happening on the short term. In the very, very short term, why this is happening, what it means for Bitcoin, the targets, also Cardano here on the weekly, critical chart playing out on the daily. I want to break that down too and talk about some targets on Cardano. Please hit that like button for me. Subscribe if you're not a subscriber. And let's just jump into the video. I don't know if you saw yesterday's video, but we kind of laid the groundwork from a more macro perspective, why this is happening. 9 reasons why I went over yesterday's video, why the inevitable Bitcoin crash was getting ready to happen. And so here we are on the hourly. We're having that leg down right now. One of the things that we talked about in yesterday's video was kind of just these headlines, unknown headlines that just drop on a weekly basis out of nowhere. And that aligned with a lot of technical indicators we have setting up. And here's what just happened. Dow drops more than 400 points as a hot inflation report rattles Wall Street. And this is what we're looking at. U.S. stocks fell sharply Friday after the Fed's Federal Reserve preferred inflation gauge showed a stronger than expected increase in prices last month. This is incredibly important for crypto holders. Whether you're tracking this stuff or not doesn't matter. The core personal consumption expenditures price index, the Fed's preferred measurement of inflation, rose 0.6% in January and 4.7% from the prior year. So what is happening? What is that triggering? It's triggering US dollar currency index making a run for it right now. This is one of the things that we talked about in yesterday's video. This is a very big deal. The fact that US currency dollar index from this swing high to swing low is breaking this lower high channel of resistance. This is something we've been monitoring. This is what we did not want to see. And it's happening right now. This is an extreme warning, I would say, in the very short to mid-term that we need to pay attention to. We have the 20-day moving average crossing above the 50-day. US dollar currency index getting some legs here as we zoom out on this chart. This could mean a continued downtrend for crypto right now. And it's okay, though. I just want to say that in terms of, I think, the macro aspect of what's happening for Bitcoin. But obviously, all the while, we go to things like the S&P 500. You see that is down. We have a target down here, a higher low target on the macro, and then we're going to pivot over to Bitcoin and Cardano down here. So S&P 500, target to the downside, still, if this trend breaks, 5 to around 8% to the downside. That's a more volatile move likely for Bitcoin and crypto. So we're at this resistance, these 2 weekly moving averages, the 50, the 200, big deal on the weekly. But here's what we're looking at, everybody. On Bitcoin, and we discussed this in yesterday's video, immediately below Bitcoin is a 20-day moving average. It would be very nice to see Bitcoin just put in a higher low all the way up here from this swing low. I don't think it's likely. And at the same time, this isn't the crucial moving average for me. We're in this macro pivot, right? From bear market to bull market. The moving averages that are important in that U-turn are the lower moving averages. So the 200 down here, the 50 down here, and having these moving averages converge together during this entire pivot, and this could be a multi-month deal, it's an okay thing. It's actually, I think, healthy. It requires patience and kind of putting the emotion aside while it's happening because we get volatile dips and stuff. But I think it's a good thing. So breaking this area, not such a big deal. I would be very interested to see what happens at the 50-day moving average around 22,000, kind of this confluent area of this lower trend line that Bitcoin has been in. And even in the midterm, this could just be a higher low for Bitcoin if it falls to that area. Price range wise, once again, what we're looking at is around 6%. When we start looking at certain things, though, that are setting up on the daily, it's important to note the momentum. We are cruising to the downside. RSI, the slower moving, cruising to the downside. MACD just got this MACD line crossing below the signal line in red. So we're obviously in this bit of consolidation to the downside right now. It's a matter of how far does it go? What does support look like? That $22,000 area, just below $22,000, is a very critical area to watch. And this is what it looks like on the hourly chart. So just such a nice setup for Bitcoin in the ascending triangle, breaking to the downside, the pullback to the lower trend line, anticipated that. As often is the case, it happened, get the resistance, and now we're coming back down. And you can see on the hourly, it gets ugly as we start tracking, well, how low can this go? Remember, we're anticipating kind of all the way down here, this $22,000 region. So that's what I'll be watching. If Bitcoin makes a fall to that area, is there support down there? what happens, how bad of a short-term move will this be? And then going over to Cardano, I just want to say a couple things on the macro. Number one, and I've been mentioning this nonstop, the 20-week moving average in green. Look at this. This is precisely why not only did we want to break above the 20-week moving average, and this was all the way back in mid-January, over a month ago, but we wanted to get a little pop above it, right? This isn't the most separation I would have liked to see, but I'm happy we came that far above at the very least, giving us a little bit of cushion that essentially ADA has been consolidating very sideways. I know ADA holders kind of get frustrated with ADA sometimes because it kind of is sideways and boring before it makes a big move to the upside or downside. But it's normal for ADA on these charts. We've kind of come to realize that over the years. But when it does move, it's more explosive than something like Bitcoin. Now we just wait for those moves. Now here's the thing. The 20-week moving average is down here around 34 cents. And that's an important note just to keep track of. Price range wise, it's around an 8% move for ADA. We just looked at Bitcoin's move around the same to the downside, same target. But here's what's setting up on the daily, which I think is interesting. And it should be of no surprise because we see the consolidation of the moving averages on Bitcoin. We just looked at all of these consolidations, right? The converging of the 50, the 20, the 200-day moving averages. It's happening on ADA right now as well. And this is, in my view, in my opinion, a really good thing. I think this is like what we want to see in the bottoming range. And what this story looks like could just be extremely volatile. All of these moving averages kind of moving all over the place for months as we bottom out and put in kind of structure for the bottom of the bear market. But it's happening now, and that is a good thing. First thing to note, though, we have way less support in terms of moving averages on the ADA daily chart than we do over here on the Bitcoin chart. Look how low, look how much space below Bitcoin. We have 15% space to the 200-day moving average. We go over to ADA on the daily. ADA's at all the moving averages right now. So we can't really use the moving averages as support for ADA right now, though we would like to, in a bullish environment, just see higher highs and higher lows above the moving averages, continuation to the upside. There's really not much room for downside right now for ADA. ADA is testing that last bit of support that we would anticipate, and we can see what happens here right around 36, just below 37 cents, but we really should be mindful of maybe more important areas for ADA, and namely one of those areas is the 20-week moving average around 34 cents. I want to say in this macro pivot, there's definitely obviously no guarantee. I mean, a move below that area is 100% in play. We know a pullback to this entire structure is 100% in play. I don't want to talk about sub 30 cent ADA, but the target is there if crypto is going to continue to fall. That would be off the back of something like US dollar currency index continuing to make a move to the upside, at least in the short to midterm. So for ADA, there's absolutely a target down here. And it's just something we need to be mindful of in this macro pivot. Again, I think the way to win in crypto is patience. And that's just my approach, because if I'm just hoping for just more zoomed in supports to hold so we can just moon and go to the upside and enter a bull market, it's not realistic, because that's not how these markets work. It's not how these cycles work. So we should anticipate the pain amidst the macro pivot from bear to bull. So there is very much a real target just below 30 cents, 25 to 30 cent range for ADA, and it would be a higher low consolidation as we kind of form the bottom for ADA. I don't think it's a bad thing. It's not something any of us want to see, but you can just see these moving averages kind of converging together. Our first area of support, though, to keep an eye on is 34 cents, 20-week moving average, around 8% to the downside, still as cushion for ADA. And if that happens, ADA could very much hold above the 20-week moving average if markets turn around and continue to the upside. Not definite that it's all going to fall and just tumble down to the worst case scenarios, but it's definitely in play. So that's what I'm watching right now. This is what's going on right now. We're going to continue monitoring this, maybe do another update video later. If you like these update videos, please hit that like button for me. It means a lot, and I will see you all in the next video. God bless.